This is your friendly neighborhood alien stalker podcast hoster and all-around hateration target, Manny Moonraker. This is episode number 291. Yeah. For a second there, I got stuck. I didn't know what the hell to say. So, for some reason, Stan Lee just popped into my mind. So, that's why I went that route. 291, UFO Buster Radio Report. There is something fascinating that I just realized. That I actually, after looking at the tweets from the Twitter space from Ronnie Dawson regarding Mr. McConnell and Exit Zone Radio out in Canada, I was looking at it and I said, you know what, what hashtag two fucks are given. Let me just go ahead and listen to this. Weird thing. And this is weird. I don't understand why people don't complain about this. And that is when podcasts spend the first fucking 15 minutes of a 59-minute show advertising things themselves. And I'm weirded out by that because a lot of people complain that they hear advertisements on UFO Buster Radio, but fuck, for real, I don't spend, 15 fucking minutes talking about shit you don't really give a fuck about. That is the weirdest thing. I mean, I'd rather have the professional jingles, the voice actors on there, talking about fucking McDonald's, than listening to, Rob talk about the shit that he's fascinated about that he thinks you guys should be using. And, let me just say this. Joe Rogan does the same thing. And Joe, if I know you're not listening, but if some rubber dicker gets to you, guess what? I don't want to hear you promoting shit. Let the fucking company do it themselves. Let them send you a file. Because when you say it, it's just not as exciting, man. It's not. I want to hear for you to talk shit about MMA and aliens and UFOs and talk to Bob Lazar. I don't want to hear you talking about the day after pill or some shit like that. It's just not me. I don't want to hear it, and it's not you either, actually. Yeah. So after the first, to be honest, McConnell's thing, it felt like it was 30 minutes, but he spoke for about, I don't know, maybe 6 minutes or some shit like that on Ronnie's episode. And then he introduced Ronnie. And here's another thing, he read all the shit that Ronnie's about. I mean, I think his producer went in and picked out every fucking story he could put together, got it together, and maybe Ronnie just gave it to him. Being an oil field worker, trucker and stuff like that, and being in Texas. And then as soon as he finishes reading that, he says, "So Ronnie, tell me about yourself." You just fucking told everyone about Ronnie. I mean, how awkward is that? I'm telling you. Ronnie probably felt like he was on Groundhog Day. Yeah. Flashback. Ever seen one? So it was, I kind of gave up after a while because it really seemed that Mr. McConnell was really kind of set on poking holes into Ronnie's story right from the onset. He didn't even let Ronnie give his story in the chronological order as it happened. He actually skipped around to what really was fascinating to him, not letting the audience listen to Ronnie's story from A to Z, but more like what he wanted to hear. So I gave up after a while. That's that's jacked up. Let the guy tell his story. Don't jump around trying to discredit him, because that's really what it was. He was trying to trip Ronnie up, make him sound like he was an abducted dunce, basically. That's what it sounded like, And the one thing I got to say about this podcast is when we bring people on, we don't try to belittle them or try to discredit them. because they've put some effort behind what they're doing. Now, can I say with 1,000% certainty that every single person that's come on this podcast is a real deal, 1,000,000% legit? I can't say that. But you know, we as humans, we embellish all the time. When you get stopped for a traffic ticket. Oh no, sir, I didn't see those 50 fucking speed limit signs that I drove by that said don't go over 70 and you're doing like 90. Happens all the time. So when people have these stories that appear to be magnificent, yeah, there's some embellishment. That's human. That's natural. You want people to believe, so sometimes you might embellish a little bit. You might put a little salsa into your dip. Some of you don't even understand what the fuck I just said, but that's the way it goes. We got 2 stories today that we want to talk about. And to go with those 2 stories, we got 2 hard-hitting songs, brand new ones. And then we have another one just to end it on a soft note. I know it's Friday. Some of you are somewhat drunk already. You have nothing better to do. You've caught up on all your Netflix, caught up on all the other, podcasts and stuff like that. Or your significant other just kicked you out to the couch. And so you figured, let me listen to Moonraker for a little bit. Since the dog is kind of trying to keep me warm. And there's a little bit of moisture on my leg. I'm there with you. I'm there with you. Tonight we're going to party like it's not 1999. Because it's actually 2019. But if you're still trying to live that way, more power to you. The first song that we're going to play on here for you, before we get into the news report, it's called Never Return. Hold on to your nuggets on this one. The other thing I can say, if you have a heart condition, you're fucked.
Do you think I'm crazy? I've done all this before.
a song. I'm telling you, if you were asleep, your ass just woke the fuck up right now. You're probably getting ready to go run a few laps because your heart is going. Hitting hard. That's what that song is about, basically. Wake you up. This is ufology. This is UFO Buster Radio, man, Moonraker. Episode number 291. So let's get into the first article for today, because I'm sure you'll find it fascinating. I mean, why the fuck not? This is a special shout out for you listeners in Florida. And I know there's quite a bit of you. All the way down south, towards the middle, towards the north. Basically the entire state. Tampa, Miami. The Panhandle. Gotta love the Panhandle, right? East and west. Of course, we know on the east side of Florida. That East Coast. Also known as the Space Coast. I know you hear me. I know you do. The article for this story for today, Florida, one of the most alien active states. They're not talking about illegal aliens. Let me just clear that up. As a matter of fact, they're not really talking about aliens at all. They're just talking about UFOs. But I guess the word alien is very inviting. This is coming from the Herald Tribune. It turns out that there is a specific organization that's been tracking UFO sightings. And according to their estimations to date, Florida right now is running second to California. And specifically the area, as I've just mentioned, that, some Floridians like to call the Panhandle, Northwest Florida, apparently has had quite a bit of sightings just this year. Yeah, so we're not going back to the Gulf Breeze incident from way back when. We're talking about 2019. A lot of times it seems that people kind of forget that there's quite a few bit of a military establishment in the Gulf area, so a lot of times UFO sightings and incidents get poo-pooed. They basically always say that it's either some kind of military exercise in the Gulf where they're dropping flares, or you're just looking at some fucking jet in the dark that you're too drunk to fucking even realize that it's an actual jet. But that's the way it is, right? You can't. You've got to be well equipped in order to handle those night situations there, Rob McConnell. I digress. So according to the latest data, and this is coming from Newfork, Florida has had 6,693. It kind of sounded like Arnold Schwarzenegger there for a second. 6,000! 693 reports in the center's history. California has almost doubled that, to getting close to 14,000. And I want to say that it's really important to understand that Newfork may be telling us that for the first, the first 3 quarters of reporting, California reports, it was probably just fucking 4,000. And then when the weed shit came out, another 10,000 came on in the last, 5 years. These might be weed-induced. I don't know, but only Newfork can tell us. Just to be honest about that, because shit like that happens. It turns out that there are other top 10 active alien states across the United States, and that is Washington, holding on with 6,000, Texas with about 5,000. And I can honestly say I have not seen one motherfucking goddamn UFO in Texas So I don't know where the fuck those 5,000 are happening, but it's not anywhere I've been. Pretty sad indeed to host a UFO podcast, have 5,000 fuckers flying over your head, and you not see not one of them. Ridiculous. New York at 4,700, Arizona at 4,100, Pennsylvania just under 4,000, Illinois with about 3,700, Ohio. Who the fuck goes to Ohio? Somebody tell me. Apparently aliens do. 3665. Michigan. It's cold as fuck. I wouldn't think not one motherfucking alien from deep space would want to go to Michigan to freeze their asses off. But apparently about 3,000 show up there in the history of New Forks reporting. So, I don't know. These are some strange locations, to be honest with you. But there's no Colorado here. That's kind of weird. No Colorado. I mean, if you're going to go to Michigan, fuck that. Go to Colorado. It's a bit more scenic. Easier to probe people as well because they like being, people in Colorado love the nature of the state. Like being out in the woods and shit. Fishing. Fly fishing, as a matter of fact, is pretty big over there. But fly fishing and shit like that. That is easy probing area. I mean, come on, really? You think those people go out fly fishing in the middle of the fucking cold and they're not intoxicated? Are you kidding me? It's a big waste of time, E.T. A lot of fresh meat out there. The article has a few incidents that they call out from 2019 that people should be aware of, apparently. Whether you give two fucks or not, you will be aware of it right now because I got two of them that I want to talk about, let you know about, and there's more in the article. So please, once you get off the shitter, go over there and click on this article and find out what these other incidents are. And you might have family in Florida that maybe were a part of this and they're not talking. They're keeping a secret. The family secret, the dark secret, besides the uncle with no teeth. So yeah, keep an eye on this. Keep an ear to this in Florida if you're out there. The first one is from Gulf Breeze. Happened June 9 of 2019. Let me just reiterate, 2019. 6 people were hanging out on the back porch of a friend's house. I love when those stories say that because what the fuck are you doing? Why are so many people hanging out in the back of a friend's house at night? There's only one thing they're doing. They're getting high or drunk. They just keep it real. Apparently, when they pulled up, the apps on their phones to look at the stars and try to find Jupiter, and those are really great. Those, I guess, kind of like augmented reality apps that you move around like you're special. And try to find the stars, right? So they were looking for Jupiter just before 10 p.m. on June 9th. Some of you can run to your star maps and you can freaking triangulate where the fuck they are at this point. They spotted a light in the sky that was almost as bright as a North Star. So apparently they were looking north. I don't know. It has no blinking lights, but it had a blue blur behind it. A blue blur behind it. I don't know. Did they check to see if there were any meteor showers during that time? That's kind of like what it sounds like. It was viewed by 6 adults because they were consenting. And they were all over the age 35. Like, that really means a fucking thing. I don't know. Because anyone younger than that is a jackass. All of whom were sober. Come on. You see, what did I say? So you got basically 35-year-olds or older, because they don't want to tell you exactly, 6 of them hanging out at the back of somebody's house at 10 p.m. at night looking at apps for stars. That's the part that's not fucking believable. I don't believe none of that shit. They're lying their asses off. I don't care. That's BS. According to one of the old, boring-ass people looking at the star apps, they said that it traveled the night sky in a straight line for around a minute. It stayed in constant speed, then it phased out, totally disappeared. No explosion, no giant flash. It was there, and then it wasn't. Just like the fun that they thought they were going to have in the backyard. It's all right. I don't know. I could honestly say this could be fucking anything. And the fact that it traveled in a straight line, it could have been a satellite, to be honest. Could have been a satellite, could have been something flying by from the planet. So either way, it is a UFO, right? It was reported. We've got to record it. Thank you, Gulf Breeze. And you guys need to have like a little town like in Tampa where you just go out at night and just act crazy and shit. Because apparently shit's not happening in Gulf Breeze at all. You guys are just hanging out, just being boring as fuck. The next one, Fort Walton Beach on April 9th, 2019, about 9 p.m. An individual who went for a walk near Santa Rosa Mall reported seeing a defined slim triangle with around 6 round dimly orange glowing lights. Dimly lit. I guess they need to put the word lit in this bitch because it doesn't even tell you. It just says dimly orange lights. Moving slowly and quietly just above the tree line, because with all that space above you, why would you be anywhere else? I spent the next hour in the park staring up at the sky in shock. When I finally got home and tried to go about my normal business, I discovered the internet was down in my neighborhood. Conspiracy, do you? Is that a conspiracy they're giving out? Is that maybe, who is it that's down there? Bright House. Is it Bright House that send like an alien up there scanning shit? Scanning. Oh, there's a rubber dicker. Let's take out her internet. I don't know what the fuck that has to do with anything. Why would a low-flying triangular spacecraft filled with ET want to take out the neighborhood internet? How strange. But if you think about it, maybe they didn't want this reported. Maybe that's the way that they keep things on the low. Those are two of the incidents from this year that I reported in the article. If you're from Florida, I'm sure you have a lot of interest in this. It'll be fascinating to see if your city or your town is listed in the other incidents. Fuck, one of you might be even listed in the article itself, but I'm not going to give that away. The next song is called Sleeper, because that's what happens on the back porch in Florida. See, so there you go. Someone just posted a question on the UFO Buster Radio page. Jason said, why are there so many ads in the middle of sentences? God, this is a live recording. Actually, Jason, every single episode is live. And so what happens is that the advertisement is added at random after that. It's not like scheduled, so I don't sit here with my clock saying, oh, fuck, 15 minutes in, I need to just be quiet because eventually, sometime in the future, some freaking program is going to add an advertisement. So that's why it's just not planned that way. Now, I could sit here and kind of plan it and maybe have an episode every 2 weeks because it takes too fucking long for me to do. I'm a one-man show. Now, if anybody wants to be a producer on UFO Buster Radio and get paid less than peanuts, like you might possibly get the scent of peanuts. Yeah. Not even a fucking shell. Nothing. You might get the scent coming from someone else's breath. And that would be your payment as far as producing for UFO Buster Radio. I'll be honest with you. That's the way it goes when you're an independent podcaster. You don't have a bunch of rubber dickers behind you like Rob McConnell, whatever the fuck his name is. Shout out to Dave. Dave is live in the chat right now. And let's be honest. I'm going to just be honest. Again, this is an independent podcast, so somehow the bill and the fee of hosting and time spent in producing the podcast, looking shit up, it's got to be paid in some way. So advertising right now in the realm of podcasts is the only way to do it. I'm sorry, but I can't show up in an auditorium and draw, about 3,000 people, charge them about $25 a head just to do what I'm doing right now. It just doesn't happen that way. Whenever that happens, and the listening audience decides that they want to see me at some kind of auditorium somewhere so I can, cuss to my heart's content. Then at that point, why do we need ads? We don't need them. But right now we do. And it's really not that many. I kind of hope there's not, but the in-between sentence thing, sorry, Jay, I really can't help that. The next article, we're about to get that started, so let's run the intro. This next article is from the country known as India. India. Yeah. I just want to say this. I do have listeners in India, by the way. Thank you very much. I hope that you're out there spreading the word in your village regarding the madness that is UFO Buster Radio. It is. And I got to say another thing is that I like watching many of the street food videos from India. When I tell you, there are some really talented chefs out there who are cooking on the daily for a massive amount of people in their little setups in the local streets. Amazing. Totally amazing. And their skill and their ability it's just crazy. It really is. And the food looks fantastic. But now I'm going to talk shit about India. Yeah, sorry. I'm going to have to talk shit right now. India has a new planetary target in mind, and that's Venus. I want to take a pause just for one moment. I want to take India. I want you to listen. I don't know what village you're in. It's probably just one fucking person in India that's listening. What, they got like 5 billion people there? I want to listen to me. I don't know who you are. fuck, I don't even know why you listen to the podcast down in India. But I want to say this to you. It just come a little closer. The government is fucking crazy. You need to tell them, I want you to be my emissary. I want you to put together a nice looking suit. Make your way to the capital. And let them know to stop fucking wasting money. Stop it. Think about the people. Think about the people that are starving, that are having a hard time in India. Stop sending fucking rockets to places you don't need to fucking be. Plain and simple. India has a new planetary target in mind, and that is Venus. Space.com is reporting this. Yeah. Why the fuck do you need to go to Venus? You actually, in the grand scheme of things, India is going the entirely opposite direction that everyone else wants to go. If that doesn't give you an idea that something's fucking wrong there, I don't know what does. Literally, every fucking person that's a billionaire that's got some kind of a spaceship thing going on right now is going to the moon or Mars. The complete opposite direction of where my buddies in India want to go right now. They want to go closer to the sun where it's hot as fuck. Everyone else is going to the moon, Mars, and beyond. India wants to go to where pretty much not a fucking thing is going to live because it's too damn hot. Yeah. According to the article, India has launched just 3 planetary science spacecraft, but the country is already eyeing a new destination, and that being Venus. Scientists and engineers at the Indian Space Research Organization, or ISRO, have spent and working on plans that they've sent to the Indian national government about a particular orbiter that they're hoping will get the green light to launch. Now, don't get your panties in a bunch. Pick yourself up by your bigger panties, because it's not like it's going to happen anytime soon. I think they're looking at 2023. There's a quote in here by Nagar Sajji, and he is an ISRO scientist. The major objective is to map the Venetian, or the Venusian, should be Venusian. Venetian, I think, is the folks in fucking Italy. A Venusian surface and subsurface, because we want to know what's there. Why the fuck does anyone care about Venus at all? I'm sorry, Saji. I don't want to burst your bubble. Anyway, Saji was apparently recently here in Colorado. Did I just say the aliens should go and probe people in Colorado? And where the fuck is Saji? Getting his probing on. Like literally, he probably didn't sit on the flight on the way back home because he got probed so hard in Colorado. Sorry, Saji, but that's what you get for planning a stupid-ass mission. According to Saji, the Venus orbiter that ISRO is designing is going to be able to create a data set for Venus in about a year. So it's going to be out there checking out Venus for a year, and it's going to map the surface and look a bit deeper. Interesting choice of words there, Saji. Deeper into the planet should eventually help scientists identify volcanic hotspots scattered across Venus, because who the fuck cares? He really didn't say that last part, but that's my question. Who the fuck cares, Saji? Who fucking cares? Come on. What a fucking waste of time. I can't believe it. And according to the article, other articles, this puts India in a space race with China. China. So what? I mean, I'm not really impressed by any of this. I really am. And I think that countries that really are having a difficult time providing for their people should stop fucking around with rockets. Yeah, stop doing it. You want to help the people and you still want to, be a rocket jockey? Partner up with somebody else. Yeah, Fuck, we do it all the time. The Russians do it all the time. Israel does it. I mean, come on. You've got to start somewhere. Let's not talk about the shit you've been crashing on the moon because it won't fucking land. So, of course, you crash it on the moon. Well, fuck. Let's go the other way. Maybe if we get closer to the sun, we'd be able to land shit somewhere. No, that's not the way it works. Dave got a couple of comments on here. Yeah, let's see what he says. Dave says apparently China wants to best NASA with a Mars mission. Can't find a legit source that yet and call that bullshit. China has a lot of fucking people, to be honest. And if anyone can put some shit somewhere, somehow, China can do it. At least their mission to the moon was successful. And they found that gel-like shit on there. I mean, nobody even knows what the fuck it is. People are theorizing it's basically glass that they found on their little rover, but who knows? Nobody fucking knows at all. He also said India failed with the moon. That is absolutely correct. They jacked the fuck up. They really messed that up. But now they want to go to Venus. And that's the question. Why are you going the complete opposite? You know how many times someone has sent some to Venus? You know how many times it's already been mapped? Who really gives a flying fuck? If you're in India right now, and a lot of places in India are crowded as fuck, right? If you're in India right now, you're struggling to make ends meet, your family is suffering, your entire village is suffering, then why in the world would you even give a flying fuck that there's volcanoes on Venus? Makes no sense. But I guarantee you the Saji got probed in Colorado. I'm telling you, that is the perfect probing place for anyone that's coming from 4.2 far and needs to find themselves some fresh meat. Saji got probed. I want to see some news reports from Saji. See if he's a little uncomfortable. Because I think he is. I think Saji got home and was telling stories of what he felt when he was in Colorado. But all jokes aside, there is something to be said about planetary exploration for countries that really can't even afford to have their own fucking people. That's all I'm saying. Just stop it. Partner up with somebody. There are more advanced, technologically wise countries that can really help bolster your country's space race dreams and caviar wishes on a different planet than what you're doing in putting money into shit like that. And I'd say that for any fucking country, whether you're in South America, whether you're in Europe, even the United States. There comes a times where you really need to focus on your own people and stop fucking around with the shit that makes no sense, like going to Venus. Because last I checked, there's no fucking volcanoes in India. So why do you give two flying fucks if there are volcanoes in Venus? That's the problem here. Common sense. Right down the toilet. Completely down the toilet. I could understand, right? If there was something on Venus that even mirrored, let's say, the climate in India. Well, let's take a look at that. Hot as fuck. Yeah, I can see. A lot of places in India are hot as fuck, right? But that's about it. There's no volcanoes there. I've never heard of any volcanoes in India. And even if that's the case, why don't you fly your happy ass to fucking Hawaii and look at those volcanoes? It'd be a much better visit than spending billions of dollars and sending a craft that you more than likely will crash onto Venus and you're not going to get shit from. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I can't. I love space exploration. I love to talk about aliens and UFOs, but I hate spending money on bullshit when there's a lot of people out there that can use that money to live better lives And instead of fucking getting together, a whole fucking village, to look at a TV and watch billions of dollars crash on the moon. More than once. That's all I'm saying. But you don't have to listen to me. I'm just Manny Moonraker. I'm just a podcaster on the loose. I got loose lips. And I try to sink ships, but some of those ships don't even give a fuck that I'm here, to be honest. I want to thank Dave again for joining the chat and this little, conversation we're having. Dave, again, I will remind you that next Thursday, during the second freakout, 10 p.m. Central Standard Time, I do expect you to call in just to say hello. Okay, maybe I'll ask you a random ass question to see what your perspective is. And please, feel free to drink enough beer to get on here. Do like a vodka or rum chaser if you need to, because I'm sure that'll make it a whole lot funnier. The last song for today, before I check out, is I'm going to bring you guys back down, calm you down. I know you've been all excited about this episode and all this shit that's going on around the world, and especially in fucking Florida. I mean, you can't even get a suntan over there anymore. You are in danger of getting probed. Fuck the shark bites. This is for the folks who want to get mellow. And if you've been sent to the couch by your spouse, guess what? Just play this right now. You might be able to get a reprieve and might be allowed a little closer to your bedroom. Otherwise, the dog's going to continue to hump your leg. I guarantee it. This is Manny Moonraker saying ciao.
I will get close to your heartache if you won't open your door. I'm feeling kinda lost when your mind is hiding whatever that is choking your chest. I can see it